A few years ago, a friend of mine named Jess, a poet, asked me if I'd ever written anything about how to read for an audience. Jess had been asked many times to read for audiences, and she had read for audiences many times, and she was wondering if I might be able to give her some tips. So I did. I gave her a few tips, like prepare, rehearse, put yourself in the material you're reading, take a lot of time in your rehearsal, relax into it. And she said, oh gosh, I like that. Maybe you should write more about that. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I did, and I ended up collaborating with Allegra Huston, my creative collaborator, and together we wrote a book titled How to Read for an Audience. And it's about all the little things you have to do to get yourself ready to walk out there in front of a group of people, maybe for 5 minutes, maybe for 3 minutes, possibly even for 45 minutes. So when I wrote this book, I drew from all of the experiences that I've had over the years performing my poetry and the poetry of other people on stages small and large. And I learned, I wouldn't say I learned the hard way, but I learned the long way. There was a lot of time when I walked out on that stage and I had no idea what to do, and I just had to learn it as I went. I mean, one of the things that really surprised me when I first started to read for an audience, and much of the work I had was memorized, I looked out in the audience and everybody looked different. It was really surprising. All the eyes looking back at me, and I'm like this, oh my gosh, what's that? Well, the reason that surprised me was because I hadn't planned, I hadn't prepared, I hadn't worked with it. So in this book, even though it's a small, tiny little book, you can almost put it in your back pocket, certainly put it in your pouch. I cover much of that. I talk about how to get yourself ready, how to prep, how to take your time, how to breathe, how to be yourself, how to dress. And if you're lucky enough to get your material published, Allegra Huston comes in and she talks about how to go on book tour and how to stand in front of an audience and relate to them, how to give your gift to them and how to accept their approval, their praise. So if you'd like to know more about that, how to read for an audience, I like this little book. It's a good little book, and I think you'll like it too. So there you go. Good luck on that next reading, long or short.